At Read Oxford, we're interested in a whole range of questions about how people read and write. I've been fascinated by how people read for as long as I can remember. We read for pleasure and we read to learn. Being able to write allows us to share our thoughts, ideas and dreams with other people. Written language is a truly remarkable invention, and it's hard to imagine our world without it. I think our most important research questions centre on how it is children learn to read. For us, as skilled readers, reading is usually easy. We read text very quickly, averaging between 200 and 350 words per minute. And even at this speed, we understand what the text is saying, almost instantly and without apparent effort. Or if we fail to understand it, we know what to do. We can reread the text, or look up the meaning of a particular word. Or we can simply ignore it and read on, leaving something unknown or underspecified. But reading isn't this easy for everyone, and learning to read takes time and lots of practice. Learning about reading starts early, well before children can read for themselves. Toddlers learn about stories from shared reading experiences. They also learn things about reading itself, like how in English print goes from left to right, and how we work through a book from left to right. But learning to read really takes off when children first go to school. The first task is to grasp the Alphabetic Principle. This is the fundamental insight that in English, letters represent language via sound. By this, I mean that the letters or groups of letters map to the way that they are pronounced in speech in a systematic way. A letter B, for example, tends to be associated with the sound B. We know from many studies that phonics instruction is the best way for children to learn to read a language like English. This ensures that children get the alphabetic principle. Armed with this, they have the basic skills in place to learn how letters and sounds relate to each other. This is critical, even in English, which is notorious for its spelling system, in which words aren't always spelled exactly as they sound. With good teaching and lots of practice, children usually make good progress. They move from being novice readers, perhaps error-prone and hesitant, to becoming more expert and more adult-like as time goes on. They can read independently and are well prepared to read whatever it is they'd like to read. But this is still just the beginning of learning to read. So far, we've only talked about reading words. We don't read to read individual words. We read sentences, paragraphs, stories and books. We read to comprehend and to communicate with others. Being able to read words is a very important part of this. If a child can't read the words on a page effectively, comprehension will of course suffer.